that's I think that's an important thing you're basically holding two contradictory things in your mind. This is the first time I've thought about it this way, which I think is really, really, really important for all the people at all stages of their career, but especially coming up, that you need to make big decisions with, even if you don't have maximum confidence, but like committed decisions of like, you're like, I'm going to go to New York because that's the thing, and that's where I'm going to go, and that's where I'm going to make it, and that's where I'm going to, and then a year later realizing there's a better decision to be made. I'm going to go back to Santa Cruz. That's where I'm going to make it. That's where I'm going to do my thing. That's where I have my network with full confidence. So it's almost like you need to both go full on into this thing. I mean, you know, there's a clip that we put up that's now like the most viewed, most shared clip from one of my discussions with John about a career in music is irresponsible, that you really need to make insane decisions, but then also be really flexible. I mean, the idea is something I try to give advice to people that John and I have talked about this a lot, about how much should you specialize. And I think when you're starting out, you should basically be throwing yourself out there and trying everything, trying to be a writer, trying to be a musician, trying to be an artist, trying to be a producer, trying to be a mixer. Doesn't mean that you have to do everything at once, but try everything and go in those directions, and move to the big city if you can while you're young before you have a family, and, you know, make those big leaps and see what happens. If you have any ability to do it at all, it's always risky. If you have the ability to do those things with the full commitment, like you're talking about, but then be able to switch at the same time if it's not working out. Yeah. Anyway,
the flexibility is extremely important. And I think when I get a lot of, you know, I'll have people reach out to me, be like, hey, you know, I'm graduating college. Can you grab lunch or jump on the phone and just tell me your experience? And the thing that I hear the most with kind of young up and coming producers, engineers, songwriters is this idea that there's a job waiting for you. That, you know, and it's understandable. You go to school for 4 years and you pay a shitload of money to either study music or music production, engineering, whatever it is. You know, in society, we're programmed to think like, cool, you've done your job now. Society is going to come around and take care of you.
They're going to gift you with this graduation present.
And I think there's a lot of careers that do have that. You know, if you're a doctor or, you know, in science and whatever, computer programmer, you can kind of take that to the bank.
Learn to code.
Yeah, well, I mean, there's value in that as well. But music, I think the thing I just try and shake people out of is like, this is going to be really hard and it's probably not going to work out. And so you need to kind of like readjust your thinking to where this is just going to be something that happens in your life that you might or might not make money for. And you need to kind of set everything else in your life up around to work around that, whether that's a relationship, whether that's a job. You know, when I was in Santa Cruz building a studio, I was working at a bike shop, the bike shop I worked at in college, just because they loved me. It was easy. And I was probably the worst employee at that point, because I'd be like, hey, I've got an acoustician coming on Saturday and I'm not going to be able to make my shift, like blah, blah, blah. Like, can I come in for like a couple hours on Sunday? And everyone was like down for the cause, but that's what it's like. And you know, there'll be some months where you're down and out and you're selling guitars, you know, to make rent or whatever. And it's the whole spectrum, and you just need to be able to be flexible. You need to keep your overhead down. And then ultimately something will catch on the longer you stay in. It's the people that feel that hardship within 6 months and are like, I'm out. Like I've
seen a lot of that.
Yeah. And that's understandable. It's not for everybody.